Bruno was dying. We needed bandages fast. With nowhere to go, Marco did the unthinkable. He robbed the hospital. Depressed, he returned home with the bandages, but it was all in vain. Bruno died that night. This war of mine is your typical war game. You do not take on the role of a near invincible soldier, and you won't be driving a tank. In this war of mine you take charge of a small group of people who try to survive the war in a broken down building. Your resources are scarce, and people will get desperate. How far will you go to survive, and will you survive the other people who will go that much farther? In this game you will experience a more realistic war, and the game will make you feel responsible for your people.
Winter came. Caught us completely off guard. We couldn't get the furnace up and running in time. But anyway, we tried as much as we can. Last minute we had a furnace, but we didn't have the materials to burn anything in it to warm the house up. Katja went on a raid. She came back and we realized Svetla. She froze to death. A week later, things got sour. Raid came. Pavel died in his sleep. He got wounded from the raid. Bruno got so depressed, he left the day after. Katja still tried to hold on. About 3 days, till it got too much for her. She hung herself.
The goal of the game is to survive until the war is over. How many days this will take is decided at random. My first playthrough that I survived lasted for 45 days. But don't think that when you beat the game you will be rewarded with a nice and happy end. Depending on your choices and actions, your characters may get a very depressing epilogue, but when you survive the war you do get a great sense of accomplishment. This war of mine is divided in 2 segments, a day segment and a night segment. During the day you will work to feed your people and improve your shelter. At night you will send out a scavenger to gather whatever you may need the next day. Be it food or building materials or weapons. For this you need to pay close attention to the description and every location you can go to. Sometimes you can find a lot of food there and other times you have a bigger chance of finding building materials. The description also tells you how dangerous a location is. This helps you decide whether or not you want to sneak in, bring weapons or avoid the location entirely. The only problem I have with scavenging is that only 1 character at a time can go out and scavenge. Sometimes you have 5 people in your shelter and still only 1 person can go out.
Every time you start a new game, you get to choose 1 out of 10 scenarios, each with a main character. At first you can only choose the first scenario, with the rest of the scenarios unlocked by each playthrough. Your first objective will be to clear out your home and build the necessary objects. Most important will be a workbench, but if you happen to start a game in the winter, then you may want to build a furnace unless you like to see people freeze to death. It is very important to know what the characteristics of your characters are. You need this knowledge to improve your odds of survival. Katja, for example, is good at bargaining, so you will most likely want to keep her awake during the day in case a trader comes by, or you could send her out if you know a trader somewhere else. Pavel, on the other hand, is a fast runner. This comes in handy when you want to scavenge a location that's kind of dangerous and need a quick getaway. The characters also have hidden traits. You can try to find out what they are for yourself, but it's suggested to read up on a wiki before you start. During one of the playthroughs I allowed Roman to join my group. Roman is a skilled fighter who can kill most enemies from behind with 1 attack. Now that's pretty handy. There was just something oddly familiar about him.
Nico, it's Roman! Let's go bowling!
Well, that was weird. Anyway, this game is an emotional roller coaster. Just when you think things are getting better and start looking up, you may just get raided and half your group winds up severely wounded. This is when the game gets at its best. You now need to either make or find bandages to help your dying friends, and if you don't, one of them may die leaving the rest depressed.
Roman got into a fight while trying to find bandages. He never returned home. The next morning, Pavel died of his wounds. Katja was left alone. Depressed and hungry, she refused to leave her bed. The next night she killed herself. No game is without a flaw, and this war of mine is no different. The biggest and most bothering flaw is that the game only saves at the start of a new day. This means that if you shut down the game halfway through a day or during the night, you have to restart the day and some random events may turn out completely different. During one of my playthroughs I started the day with Katja getting better from her wounds she got during the raid a few days back. Then I had to quit, and when I returned Katja died due to another raid that didn't originally take place. Of course this flaw can be exploited. Did someone die while scavenging? Restart the game. Didn't get the event you wanted? Reset the day! Now I will say you shouldn't play like that. It takes a lot of experience away from the game. Also, if people can't see a steal, they won't know it. You can then trade the stolen goods with the owner. Oh, sorry, I left my phone on. God damn it, this is so unprofessional. Yeah, could you call me back later? I'm in the middle of a review.
Nico, it's Roman. Let's go bowling.
God damn it!
With our food running low and most of our people sick in bed, we had no choice but to send Pavlo out to Sniper Junction. Pavlo was wounded, but he could still run. He managed to outrun the sniper and enter the building. Once there, he opened the sewer to make sure he had an easy exit. He then went back inside to find the sniper. There he found a crib with a baby in it. Suddenly a man startled Pavlo, and in a reflex he stabbed him to death. Then the man's last word registered with Pavlo. The man said, "Thank you for saving my baby."
If you're looking for a realistic survival game, this game is for you. If you read all the text and bios, you will be sharing the character's emotions and really feel devastated when you lose one. I can only play for a certain amount of time before I start to feel emotionally exhausted, but that just may have to do with my mental well-being and not the game. If you do not feel like reading bios and getting emotionally invested in a game, then I suggest you find something else to play. To me this game is a good time and I will give it 4 out of 5 sad faces. And there you have it folks, our first ever video review. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. If so, please let us know in the comments and press that like button down there. And if you could subscribe for our next video, we could really appreciate it. Be back here tomorrow for our first gag reel video, in which you can see how much more time we actually spent making idiots out of ourselves than doing the review. And we'll be back next time!